Well, I've done three major theatre projects, and one was John Paul, George, Ringo and Bert. You're correct in that, in the 1970s. And in the 1980s, I did Blood Brothers, also Willy Russell's show, and then just scraped in the 1990s with Spend, Spend, Spend.
Which do you prefer, if anything, or is it variety that you enjoy, doing a bit of everything?
Very much so. I think that's what keeps me very stimulated and keeps my interest in my career very much alive. And it's interesting because it was almost like an accident that I became an actress, because Willy Russell was very keen, when Blood Brothers was written, to have a singer play Mrs. Johnstone and not an actress. And he was very keen on my voice because we knew each other for a long time at that point. And I think he envisaged me playing Mrs. Johnstone. So I sort of became an actress because he wanted me to act in that particular show. I didn't know I could act either. I was never trained.
Well, you certainly proved you can, haven't you? And the characters that you played have been very different. Now,
thank you.
Mrs. Johnstone is a completely different character to Viv Nicholson.
Yeah.
And the difficulty, I suppose, with Viv Nicholson is that there are a lot of people who remember the story from 1961, aren't there?
Well, there are. It is surprising, actually, that the most younger people don't know who she is. And all I remember, and I'm in my 50s, I remember this... A blonde woman in Yorkshire in a pink car. That's all I can remember of Viv Nicholson. And of course, that's quite significant. But the story and the show are much, much more than can ever be really remembered or envisaged from that time. It's not just an historical walk through the life of Vivian Nicholson. It touches on all sorts of things. Relationships. Does winning money make you happy? The way they behaved when they won their money, how they ended up, all that stuff. It's just very interesting. It's a fascinating musical biography.
Away from the character herself,
yeah.
It's very much a sign of the time in 1961. Viv Nicholson was an unusual case because of the amount of money she'd won and so on. That sort of story is commonplace these days. This is a long time before the National Lottery and £1 million game shows on television, isn't it?
Absolutely, but I don't think that was lost on the writers. I think they wanted to illustrate that, that she had this fantastic thing happen to her. But it sort of points up, I think, what's important in life without being moralising or trying to educate people in inverted commas. It's not like that. It's very entertaining, it's very earthy, it's very funny, as well as it has fairly sad moments as well. But it ends it's very upbeat the way it ends. So it doesn't sort of moralise and say, oh dear, don't do the lottery. All it says, I think, is, well, yeah, do the lottery, but don't expect it to make you happy. Just be prepared for all sorts of things to happen. And I think that's really what I find interesting. Plus, it's just a rattling good story, and the music is fabulous.
Obviously, you're very much in demand for television, radio, for recording with record labels, wanting you to go back into the studio a lot as well. I wonder what attracted you to this particular musical, because you must have had many offers over the years. You've been fairly choosy, haven't you? And everyone that you've been involved with has been a major success. You're an award winner for this one, of course.
Yeah, well, I didn't, I don't know with anything whether it'll win an award or whether it would get a gold album. I've never been like that. I do say from the bottom of my heart that I've never been in it for something that I sort of thought might be successful. I've only ever done work that I wanted to do, really. I have occasionally done things that I've regretted. But to be honest, most of the stuff that I've done has been good work. And I'm very lucky that I've been able to do that. And the show attracted me to itself by reading the script and listening to a cassette copy of the songs, and I thought, this is just great. This is the best thing since Blood Brothers, and I still maintain it's the best British musical since Blood Brothers. And if anybody likes Blood Brothers, they'll like this as well. Yeah.
We mustn't forget, of course, that you've got a family, and
yes.
Certainly on the concert tours and so on, they do come and travel around with you as much as they can, don't they?
Well, my boys are all at school now, of course, and it's very difficult. This is why I try to build holidays and breaks from my projects in the summer holidays and Easter and Christmas.